What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Trailblazers Radio. I am your host, Frederick Beatty, and want to thank you guys so very much for tuning in and rocking out with us. The reason that you're just seeing my picture on here tonight is because my camera is acting very, very wonky, and I don't want y'all to. I mean, not to say that my camera's acting very, very wonky, and it's not that I don't want you guys to see my face, but if I turn my camera on, that's what you're gonna see. So I'm trying to fix my camera so it can be right for the next episode. So until that time, gonna stop my cam, and that's probably what you're gonna see for the majority of this particular stream. Um, First and foremost, I do want to thank um, all of our listeners, all of our listeners, and all of our viewers for just doing what you guys do, for listening in and tuning in to us and listening to us. Um, every time we come up here and we talk about a subject, or we expound on something um that we need to talk about and things of that nature. And yeah, I know LHG, it looks good to you, but you saw all those crazy looking images and stuff like that. That doesn't look right to me. You know, it may look right to a lot of people, but it may look right to some people, but yeah, that don't look right as far as I'm concerned. That don't look right at all. So I apologize for that. And I do want to thank everybody for supporting us, for listening to us, for rocking out with us. I am I am amazed upon amazed about the people that continue to listen to us and continue to watch us. So I'm amazed upon amazed. So I thank you guys in advance for just continuing to rock out with us and continue to just be here with us, man. I am appreciative. I am very, very, very appreciative of that, guys. So I do appreciate that, y'all. Thank you guys so much for being there with us. And thank you to follow us on our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Um, Thank you guys for checking out our website, www.trailblazersradio.net. Um, thank you guys for checking that out. Um, Want to give a big shout out to my hosts, to my partners, to the people that walk this journey beside me. Coco Fenton, Quint Jones, Barbara Melvin, and Latanya Harris Good, aka LHG. Thank you guys for just walking this out with me. I'm so appreciative of that. Um, Another big shout out to um, Kai Rodriguez and Tony Wade. Just to let you guys know, I am a part of their Diamond Star Entertainment, part of their artist management artist management endeavor. So want to thank those guys for continually supporting me, and just want to thank you guys for continually supporting us. And I want to thank all of our, and last but not least, I want to thank every guest that has come to this platform and shared this spotlight with us, allowing us to kind of to talk to you a little bit about what you guys do and why you guys do it. So I want to thank you guys for being transparent with us and just giving us an opportunity to share that with you. Um, Last but most definitely not leastly, I want to just give a big want to thank God for just being who He is in my life, because without God, none of this really happens. You know what I mean? None of this really happens. So have to give a shout out where credit is due. That being said, let's let's get into this, y'all. Let's get into this. So the subject matter of today is, it's okay to not be okay. And the reason that I mention this, and this is part of my check-in series. This is episode And we're talking about that it's okay to not be okay. Why is it okay to not be okay? Why why is that phrase or that statement so looked upon as such a negative connotation? Why, when someone says that, when a male or female says that, or when a child says that, that they're looked upon with scorn or distaste or whatever type of words you want to use in that. So before we even jump into those questions, excuse me, there's a reason why, excuse me, there's a reason why we as men and women say that we're not okay. There's a reason why men mostly hide that fact that they're not okay. And I mentioned this on a previous on a previous episode on a previous episode. But there are reasons as to why we're not okay, and there are many reasons. I could probably go on speak for days, speak for a minute of this podcast as to what those reasons are. But I'll kind of break it down kind of quite simply for everyone. Some of those reasons are some of those reasons that we're not that we as people, as men and women, are not okay is because maybe we've been through a traumatic event. Abuse, whether physical, sexual, or otherwise, is a traumatic event. Whether we what you know, and there's so many other traumatic events. Maybe we've suffered. Um maybe we lost a loved one. Maybe we've maybe we went through a very dramatic life change. Um, health issues or a life change. Um, health issues such as health issues or a life change, or maybe now that we're not, or maybe another major life change could be having a child and going through postpartum depression. Another life change could be having to take care having to take care of a loved one. Catastrophic events could be, yeah, right, LSG. Catastrophic events can be something that puts us in the realm of us not being okay. And what I mean by catastrophic events, meaning that could be like the loss of a home through a natural or unnatural disaster, or even experiencing something such as a school shooting or a shooting or anything of that nature. Those could be events that have catastrophic. It can be catastrophic. So there's a plethora of events that will put us in the not okay bucket, and those events will put us in the not okay bucket, and we'll feel and we will go through the gamut of whatever we're feeling as far as those events, whether it be extreme sadness, whether it be depression, whether it be um, anxiety. All those things contribute to us not being okay. But why is it okay for us to not be okay? Why do we say that phrase? Me too, LSG. Me too. I do wonder how some of those survivors are doing now. Um, I have a couple of good friends that are from Louisiana when and migrated here when Hurricane Katrina hit, and I mean they're doing pretty good for themselves. But those are only two people that are amongst the majority of people who are displaced. But back to what I was saying. So why do we say that phrase that it's okay to not be okay? And why is it looked at as such a big deal? Well, the reason that we say that we're not okay because let's just be very truthful and very honest. We're not okay. There's something that's going on inside of us or within us that is I won't even say making us that's having us to feel these very very strong emotions, anger, anxiety, um, fear, sadness, um, and all those things lead. Though all those emotions lead to could lead to depression, could lead to so many other things. So the reason that we say that we're not okay because we're actually not okay. And for a lot of us that say that we're not okay, we struggle with that particular thing daily. We try to find ways to make ourselves okay, whether it be through prayer or meditation, or whether it be just doing some activities that help take our minds off of what we're worried about or what we're dealing with emotionally, or or whether it's just through for some of us it's sheer power, determination, of will, and stuff like that will that we use to make sure that we're okay. But but in reality, in doing all those things, we're still not okay because once we do all these activities that take our mind off what we're thinking about or what we're feeling and things of that nature, the feelings that we have just it. And I think for some people, not all people, that is the disconnect. And it's a disconnect that needs to be properly, I won't say properly addressed, but needs to be addressed. So why is it not okay? Why is it okay to not be okay? First and foremost, one thing that we need to realize above all things and above all and everything that we one thing I want everyone that's listening and watching us to watching me or at least listen to the sound of my voice to realize is that number one, first and foremost, we're human beings. So these gamut emotions and things that nature are part of the human experience. To deny these emotions, to deny these feelings, these emotions, these these things that we all feel is to deny the human existence, to deny the human experience. So yeah, it's okay for you to feel all these emotions. It's okay for you to feel anxious. It's okay for you to feel be depressed and stuff like that. Depressed. It's okay for you to feel anger. It's okay for you to feel sadness. It's okay for you to feel all these things. Good evening, Miss Simon. How are you? So it is okay for us to feel these things. Yeah, LSG, we are neck deep in the human experience, and we ain't even arrived to the gate. So That's one reason why it's okay to not be okay. Number one, because we're human and we go through that. We go through the thing. This thing. This thing called like this thing called life, which is also part of our human experience. And we experience life issues. We experience life. We experience life and all that it gives us. The good, the bad, the happy, the sad, the indifferent. So we're human beings that are live. We're humans that are living the number one, not only the human experience, but in combination the life experience. Good, good. Thank you for tuning in, Miss Simon. I most definitely appreciate it. Most definitely appreciate you tuning in here. So we are going through those two experiences, and those two experiences are interconnected because our life experience bleeds into the human experience, and vice versa. The second thing I want to say is, why is it okay for us to not be okay? Is that because the things we go through, the things that we experience, whether it's something from our childhood or whether it's something that's very recent. Yep. Adulting can be ghetto. Excuse me. Adulting can be ghetto. Very ghetto. So the reason that we, we and like I was saying before, the second reason why I believe that it's okay for us to not to or us okay to express that we're not okay is that because where are those emotions going to go? And that's a question. That is a question I want to pose to everybody. Where are those strong emotions going to go? And I'll tell I'll give more of a straightforward answer, but also an answer that most of us use and an action that most of us take. So where do those emotions go? Most of those from in most cases, those emotions are internal. Those strong emotions from those experiences and those traumas and those things that we've went through, those are internalized. I have done that myself. I've internalized a lot of a lot of the shit that I've been through. All those strong emotions, I've internalized them. I I put them inside my my mental memory bank, and I tried and I buried those emotions away in the deepest recesses of my soul and in my heart. And that's not a good place for them to be. And I'm saying that to everybody, to anyone who's going through whatever experiences that they're going through. That in the deepest recesses of your heart is not a good place for those emotions, for those strong emotions, those strong experiences and traumas to be, because they fester and they swoon and they turn into so many other things. They turn into anger, they turn into loathing and disrespect and all kind of other things. And that's just not a good place for them to go. Yeah, I feel what you say, LSG, and I'm most definitely going to touch on that in a little bit. In a little bit, most definitely going to touch on that. So I guess the question is, why do we do that? Why do we? Why? And since you mentioned that, LSG, I'm going to go ahead and segue into that. So why do we do that? Why do we internalize? everything? Why do we pull everything back into the? Why do we pull those experiences back to the deepest recesses of our soul or in our hearts? Only for them to manifest into highly negative emotions later. Oh, Miss Emma, she's not on the podcast right now. It's just me. She's in the chat. So why do we do that? Why do we why do we do that? Why do we internalize? Well there's a reason why we internalize it, LSG, because for some of us we don't want to relive that trauma again. We don't want to relive that those experiences again. So we bury them. So we bury them and we put them away, and we put them in a place to where we don't have to revisit them, look at them. And that to me that is like that's not right. I mean, I'm saying this of myself too, because I've done it, and I still do it. I've internalized my emotions, and what I've internalized a lot of things from my experiences, and I still do it. And we do that so that we number one, we can put away what we feel and hide it, because that's the that's the ugly part of us. That's something that we don't want to tell nobody, and we bury that and we put that away, and that's something we don't want to deal with. So we just be like, I don't know with that. I'm gonna put that away. Or in like my old one of my old petty officers, one of my old LPOs. She'd always say file 13 or circular file it. Yeah, Miss Emma. That's like covering up a sore with a band-aid, or trying to cover up a large wound with a band-aid. You can't cover up a large wound with a band-aid, because that's not gonna give enough coverage and not allow enough coverage for healing. So and that's like seeing a wound is that's like seeing a wound and just ignoring it altogether, not caring for it, and not properly caring for it and dressing it the way that it needs to be dressed. Because then if you don't do that, then it gets infected. And then there's so many other things that happen. That infection can spread to other parts of your body. Same thing that happens when we internalize things, when we internalize our our traumas or strong emotions. They have an adverse effect on us, not only emotionally and mentally. They also have an effect on us physically. Did you not know that your mental health is directly connected to your physical health? If you didn't know that, now you know. That's true, LSG. We but when you say that, and I'm gonna put that on the screen here, and I'm gonna quote. So, and I quote: "Sometimes we don't want the real responsibility of moving on. We want to hold on to the pain as an excuse for current behavior." LSG, you hit the nail on the head. Now, something I was thinking about. That is a lack of personal accountability. That's a lack of personal accountability when you know there's a real responsibility. You know you gotta move on, you gotta move on and move forward, but you want to hold on to something like you want to hold on to some pain or a traumatic experience that's gonna keep your ass in bondage. And that bondage isn't just limited to the emotional or to the mental. It spreads out to the physical. It also spreads out to the physiological. Shit like shit like diabetes, stress, high blood pressure, um, and all these other ailments that that pester us and that bother us as adults. These things could be controlled if we learn how to control how we deal with traumatic events, how we deal with our emotions and everything of that nature. And I'm not a scientist or anything like that, nor am I a psychologist or licensed clinical social worker or anything of that nature. I don't claim to be either. But what I do know is that when I go through my own personal things, my own personal traumatic events and things of that nature, my body reacts. My body reacts in a negative way. High blood pressure, increased amounts of stress, increased stress, um, certain ailments that I've been fighting with for years, flare certain elements like my allergies that I've been fighting my allergies for years. I go through an event, go through like a traumatic event or something, or go through a period of depression or whatnot. My my allergies flare up and they go crazy. So everything that happens to us emotionally and mentally, it translates to us physically. That's it. That's it. So and that is something that affects us gradually. When we get to the point that we can't hold food down, when we go through those negative emotions, we don't feel like we want to eat to sustain our bodies. Or sometimes when we go through those things, we end up overeating because we're doing something, because we're trying to put something because we're trying to put a band-aid over the pain. And like I said it before, you can't put a band-aid on a large wound. That don't help. It's only going to cover a small area. Or if you look at it, or if you have a wound and you don't dress it at all. So I guess the other thing that I want to kind of jump on, and this is before I segue into anything else. So in order for us to kind of, and I'm going to segue into this a little later, that yes, oh my goodness, you know what? Now that you mentioned, I really right this moment, because that's interest. That's good. That's good, LSU. That's really really good. We like to use the negative emotions as conversational pieces. We're so used to using those as conversational pieces. It's all that we know, and it's killing and stifling our future. That is so very true. I have no issue with someone using a a traumatic event to to a traumatic event to like to talk about victory, to talk about their victory on the other side of that. So I don't have an issue with that. We all have been through something either traumatic or very or catastrophic, and we can all talk about something like that because 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 we're on the other because we're on the other side of that event. We're on the victorious side of that event, and whether that victory comes now or later, we're still on the opposite side of it because we survived it, and we could talk about it to this day, and we could use our experiences as a cautionary tale to someone else. So I have no issue with someone talking about a negative event or a negative emotion and using that as a cautionary tale or saying that I went through this, but now I'm on the other side of that. I've crossed over. What I don't like, and I am a victim of this myself. So I'm being very transparent here. What I don't like is when when we continually use talk about negative emotions and events, and we don't talk about crossing over from that event. We don't talk about we don't talk about gaining victory or knowledge or insight from that event. Or we just don't, or we just flat out or ignorant to the lesson that was supposed to be learned from that event. Those are things that I personally don't like. Your everyone else's dislikes or dislikes may vary, and that's fine because the simple fact of the matter, we're human beings, and we all share different approaches and different viewpoints on how that's looked at. And it does turn into a cycle of dysfunction. Um, LSG, it is a very hurtful cycle of dysfunction. Who in the hell wants to live in dysfunction? I don't think anybody that's listening to me under the sound of my voice or watching this podcast wants to ever live in dysfunction. And keep in mind that when we live in dysfunction, it's like all hell done broke loose every day, all day. There's no lessons learned. There's no peace. There's nothing. So I feel like it's hard. It's number one. It's already hard to live with a person in this with another individual in dysfunction. It's even more difficult to live in your to live in your own personal dysfunction. And yeah, dysfunction becomes a form of entertainment to them. When you are attracted to the dysfunction and disconnection and all that other negative shit, it becomes a form of entertainment. And what you just said segues into to my next question. Why when we, and I'm not saying, and I'm saying everyone, not just me, not just LAG, not just anybody that's listening to me, that's listen to the sound of watch. I'm talking about we as a whole, we as black men and women, men especially. Why is it that when we, and I'm not saying we just we as men, I'm saying we as black as women too, because this is not just separate from men or women. Why is it when we say that we are not that we say we are not okay, that we are going through something, or that we've experienced something that we have and we don't, and we have no idea as to for emotionally. Why is it when we say those things that it is looked at with scorn and disrespect and such negativity? And I'm saying this for men, saying this for women too, women and men. Goes double for men. Why is it that when we as black men or black women say that we're not okay, that is looked at as such a negative aspect? Why? Is it the maybe the reason that we're expected to carry the but that we're expected to carry the burden of everybody else's collective pain and hurt? Is that the example of what a strong black woman or a strong black man is supposed to look like? Is that and yep, and I'm for that. That's the one another question I'm about to ask too. Is it because that because you're quoted you because you're a Christian, you're a Christian and you're not supposed to feel those type of emotions or go through those type of traumatic events and things of that nature. You should always go back to your faith. Go back to your faith. Or they always say that you're going through that because you lack faith. Hey Simone, how are you? I'm gonna say this right now. And I'm gonna address the first thing that I'm gonna address the last thing that I said that LHG brought up really and I really want to address that. And I said this in a podcast before. Now, mind you, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this in a way that hopefully that no pastor or whoever's listening that's in the that's a Christian because I'm a Christian too, but I want y'all to if I want y'all to hear my heart instead of listening to the words that I'm saying. when when you tell a person in your congregation or whatever to that you lack faith, when if someone's going through something that's that has been extremely traumatic or extremely catastrophic, and you tell that person that you are continually go through you that you are continually going through what you're going through because you quote unquote lack faith, you are dead ass wrong for saying that. I'm gonna repeat what I just said. You and if you are a pastor or a minister or anybody that's in the church that gets offended to what I'm saying, then that is completely fine. Hit me. That's completely fine. Hit me up in my back channel later, and we can talk about it. And I can tell you tell you the exact reason why I said it. But you are dead ass wrong. Wrong. And let me tell you why you're wrong. You're wrong because too often leaders and church members tend to forget that in the process of being a Christian, you were first you are first a human. And the same experiences and the same pains and ups and downs and stresses and strains and everything and all the shit that life brings you, that life put through the person that you're telling they lack faith. You at one point went through that, and you are still going through that. So for you to tell that person that they lack faith in prayers and God and stuff like that, and you have no idea what that person's been doing. They may have prayed, and prayed and prayed until they were hoarse. So them praying and praying and praying is not is doesn't this is not a there's not a display of a lack of faith. And like I said, you have no earthly idea of what that person has done. And you, but for you to say that they lack faith or that they're not praying hard enough, that's dead ass wrong. Because when you say and I'm and again, when you say shit like that, you are denying the human experience. Because at one point, because you're still living, you still got blood in your veins and rolling. You still woke your ass up in the morning to live the same, not the same experience, but to live the human experience. And I'm saying this because, and this is what I'm about to say is not an attack on Christianity, not an attack on preachers, not an attack on anybody else. Not on it, not on it, not on it. It's not an attack, but it's a realization. And I want y'all leaders to understand what I'm saying. If you cannot relate, if you're a human being and you're living the human experience, and you say when you separate your human experience with your Christianity, and you try to dehumanize somebody because they're going through something, and you tell them, well, maybe you're not praying hard enough, or maybe you're not asking God for the correct things, or maybe you just need to not do this and not do that. When you that is dehumanization. And anybody can argue with me to all the live long day. I stand on what I say. You can debate me or whatever. And I'm not trying to goad anybody to doing that, but I stand on what I say. You cannot do that. Stop your office or your status in the church can gives you the right to dehumanize another person, especially when they're going through something that is traumatic, or something that has been catastrophic, or something that has been that or that life has beat them down to their knees. And yet you want to dehumanize them because they're living the human experience. Stop it. Just fucking stop it. But yeah. So I think I've said enough for at least for a moment. So we are gonna take a break real quick, and I am gonna get some water, and I am gonna come back, and we're gonna talk a little. We're gonna talk a lot more about this, y'all. So I want to play this video. Um, this is a. I was thinking about my brother Terrence today. Thinking about how much of an impact he was for me and for everybody else that's on this platform. So I want to play this video, and because he's on my mind, I want to play this video. So
I just want to close out this set with this, because I thought about Thomas Whitfield. It was a song he did. I'm probably showing my age tonight, but this is for my age group. He said, some of y'all look nice and young, but you got some age on you. Age on you. There was a song the Whitfield Company sang that I shall wear a crown when it's all over. When it's all over. As soon as I get home, all of my tears will be over, all of my struggles, all of my heartaches. As soon as I wish I had a witness here. Lift those hands and, yeah. Thank you, Jesus. I shall wear a crown. I shall wear a crown. When it's all over, I shall wear a crown. I shall wear a crown. Yeah. I shall wear a crown. I shall wear a crown. Yeah. Thank you, Jesus. I feel him tonight. Hallelujah. I shall see his face. When I'm finished down here, I shall see his face. Thank you, Lord. When it's all over. When it's all over. When it's all over. Hallelujah. I'm going to put on my robe. Thank you, Jesus. I'm going to put on my robe. And tell how I made it over. Thank you, Lord. Through hard trials. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Lord. Gonna put on my robe. How I made it over. I'm gonna put on my robe. And tell I came through hard trials, hard pain and struggles in my life. I'm gonna put on my robe. sir. Yes, sir. Hey, hey. As soon as, hey, I get home. Thank you, Lord. I'm just a pilgrim traveling through, but I am a citizen of heaven. As soon as I get home, I'm gonna take off mortality, hey, and put on immortality. As soon as I get home.
Yes, 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 yes. Continue to rest in peace and in power, my brother. Continue to rest in peace and in power. Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. So we are talking about the check-in, and we're saying that it's okay to not be okay. And where I left off at was, and I'm pretty sure that what I said before I went to my break was quite inflammatory or quite incendiary. And I'm going to say that again, like I said before, we can debate that all the live long day. Any church leader, any minister, anybody that wants to debate me on that subject, we can debate that all the live long day. The my answers will still remain the same, but I will stand on my answers. Period. Go stand 10 toes down. Matter of fact, 10 toes down, five fingers, 10 fingers in on that answer. Period. And I'm gonna say this, and a lot of people are not gonna like what I'm about to say. Church people ain't the only people that do this. It's regular folk too. It's regular folk too. Because if I tell you that I'm not okay, that I'm not doing all right, or I'm not doing okay, and then you look at me or you say something to me that to the point of not only it being offensive, but also being even more hurtful. Or if I'm telling you that I'm not that something's not right within me, or that I'm not okay, that I feel a way, or I feel some kind of way, or I'm depressed, or I feel I'm a little down right now. I'm sad. I'm a little sad, or I'm thinking about life a little bit. Or I'm thinking about my life, or I'm thinking about my son, or I'm thinking about something, and I feel a way. And yet you tell me to man up. And yet you tell a man to man up, or you tell a woman to woman up. You tell a man to stop being a pussy, stop being a bitch, be a man and stand on your own 2 feet. And you tell a woman to do the same thing, stop being emotional, stop being extra sensitive, and things of that nature. You're doing the same thing as a church minister or a pastor or a minister would do. That's called dehumanizing. Because you're not acknowledging what and how I feel. Number two, you don't respect what and how I feel. Number three, you don't care about what and how I feel. And typically it's easier for a woman to get it's typically easier for a woman to get those emotions out, to speak those emotions, and somebody at least relate to her and be able to, wrap their arms around her and, and talk to her and speak to her and minister to her and things of that nature. For a man, that is so that's not even a thought. If a man say he's not okay, he's expected to deal with that. He's expected to internalize that. He's expected to man up and walk around and still walk around like that shit don't hurt. Like when we were kids. You get hurt, you get a sore or something like that. They put some dirt on it, you'll be all right. Rub some dirt on it, you'll be okay. And again, I'm not saying this to try to pit men against women or nothing like that. What I'm saying is, and what I'm saying is based upon fact, based upon fact and experience. And I'm not saying this to start any type of cross, so some type of man versus woman type thing, because that's not the purpose of this podcast. That's not the purpose of this conversation. The purpose of this conversation is for us to acknowledge that it's okay to not be okay. But when that's not even acknowledged, that's horrible. And like I said, women can typically do say that they're not okay, and people will come to them and minister to them, and talk to them, and at least get them to a point to where they're able to kind of jump out, kind of at least get out of there. But the thing is, that's not even fucking possible. And then when a man is in tune with his emotions and understands the ebbs and the flows and the ups and downs of his emotional state. Now, I'm not saying that that's dysfunctional or that's like anything of that nature. But and I'm gonna say this, and I want everybody to hear me very, very clearly when I speak this. When a man is in tune with his emotions, with the ebbs and the flows of those emotions, and when he get the downs and the ins and outs of what those emotions will, and the extremes that those emotions will bring him through, from one extreme to another, or even when he understands that his emotions are part of him being human. That in and of itself is a good thing. A lot of people will look at what I'm saying as a bad thing, or that's not a real man. And what the fuck? Well, please answer me. What the fuck is a man's man? What the hell? What does that entail? Do women know what a man's man is? Do men know what a man's man is? No, no. That's right, LSG. That is a generational error. I know. I'm not even. We not gonna even call it a curse. That's an error. we as men, we did as men, we didn't see our father, we didn't see our fathers break down and cry. We didn't see our grandfathers break down and cry. We didn't see our uncles break down and cry. We didn't see them go through these things such as depression and all. We didn't see them in those states. And we thought that when we thought that was we thought that was totally we thought it was totally okay. We thought that was totally okay. And I do want to say this, that there are some women that go through those things by themselves as well, because again, like I said, before, when if like I said earlier, typically a woman can have people that will come to her aid, or not aid, will come to her and talk to her and things of that nature. But then there are some instances to where there are some women who go through those things by themselves, who go through these episodes by themselves. And I know way too many people, myself, I know way too many people, men and women, myself included, that go through these episodes, by themselves. Well, like I said, we as men, we didn't see our father break down and cry. We didn't see our grandfather break down and cry. I didn't know my paternal or my maternal grandfathers. I never had that experience of a grandfather, except for the man that my paternal grandmother married. And I never saw that. I never saw that. And like I said, the first episode of Check In, the first time I ever saw my father break down and cry was when his mother passed. My paternal grandmother. That was the first time I've ever saw my father break down and cry. And I'm not saying it to say it's a bad thing. But I'm saying it to reiterate something that has been thrown at us for ages, for years, for decades. We tell people that we're not okay, but yet we tell people, like I said, men and women, we tell people, and sometimes we tell the people that are the closest to us that we're not okay, and they scorn us. They talk about us. They say that no, you're okay. Just suck it up and do some push-ups, or put some dirt on it, or stop acting like that. Be a man and be a woman. Well, again, my question to those who do that: what the fuck is a man's man, and what the fuck is a woman's woman? Huh? Please explain to me that one. Because last time that I checked, a real man, or a quote unquote real man, and a quote unquote real woman should be able to be vulnerable, should be able to talk to either their spouses, or a therapist, or a good friend and complete confidence, and let them know what they're feeling, and that should be okay. Yeah, you know what? I wonder the same question. I wonder the same thing. I really do wonder the same thing. And I want to ask everybody out there: do y'all? I mean, do you? Do we do? Do we think? Is there is there some equivocal truth to that? Do it? Did some of our OG? Did some of our OGs do that? Did they drown their sorrows or their fears and all that stuff in alcohol and weed or any other drug? Did they did they did they drown it? Did they drown in infidelity? And the answer to that question is possibly yeah, possibly yes. There are more outlets now than there were back then. Yep. So there we go. I mean, what could be the factor in that, LSG? What could be the factor in that? No proper outlet to express those strong emotions such as anger, fear, doubt, depression, and all those other things. No. I mean, it did when all those emotions manifest. You end up taking it out on the people that you love and you care about. And I myself personally am guilty of that. I've allowed all those emotions, those strong ass emotions, to fester and swoon and to boil over, and I've taken that out. I've taken that out on people on people that I love and I care about. In the same process, in the process, possibly alienating them. I agree, Monica. That kind of answers that question. Honestly speaking, and like I said a few moments ago, there are there are more outlets available as far as seeking help and seeking assistance now than there were back then. But even with those avenues of assistance, even when somebody, male or female, says that they're not okay, they're still looked at as someone who they're still looked at as someone who can't do who quote unquote can't deal with life, when that's not even the case. It is sad when we look at each other in that vein. It's sad when we look at each other in that vein. It's sad when we look at each other in that aspect. That guy right, that dude right there, that dude right there, he a good dude, but he just can't handle his shit. Or she a good woman, but she got a lot going on, and she just don't know how to handle all that. And that and that's such an unfair assumption and assessment of somebody. You have no earthly idea what that person is going through. You have no earthly idea what that person has endured up to that point. So when you see that person a little downtrodden, they say that they're not okay. That's you have you have you have no fucking right to judge. What someone goes through is different. What we all go through is different and varied. What we all experience is different and varied. But there are at least one to two common denominators. Regardless of the experience, we all feel the same. We all feel the same emotions. Just we all feel the same emotions, just in varying degrees. We all feel sadness. We all get depressed. We all feel anger. We all feel anxious. So that's a common denominator amongst man and woman, amongst all of us as humans. We all feel the same emotions, just in varying degrees. So for anyone to say that they don't feel, yeah, I mean, of that moniker, you are very, very correct. I have or had male friends who've done the same, who have done or still doing the same thing. They turn to drugs, they turn to alcohol, they turn to other vices to cope with the hardships that we as humans all go through. And it's far too common. It's far too common in our communities. You know, a lot of us are walking around and we're not, and we ain't okay. Excuse me. A lot of us are walking around and we are not okay. A lot of us are hurt. A lot of us are wounded. A lot of us are dealing with traumas. A lot of us are dealing with trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma. Some of us are dealing with loss, a whether that's a loved one or a good friend. Some of us are just dealing to some of us are just dealing with the shit that life throws at us, taking loss after loss after loss, you know, dealing with dealing with major life changes. So some of us, so most of us ain't okay. And we walk around and we pretend that we are because we walk around and we pretend that we are because we don't want any because we don't want to be judged by anybody. We don't want to be harshly judged by somebody. The moment someone asked us, "Are you okay?" and we say that we're not okay, and then instantly it's instant judgment. And how fair is that? Or if we go to a place to where we're supposed to receive guidance and spiritual healing, and the person that's supposed to be the shepherd of the flock tells us when that we lack faith, that we need to pray more, or we're not praying hard enough, or they just outright dismiss it. That's not fair either. Or if we tell somebody that we're going through something, and that we feel a type of way, or that we have those thoughts of wanting to harm ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And then the people that we're supposed to love us and care about us and supposed to support us and be there for us, and they outright dismiss it. That's not fair. You can't have all these people outright dismiss something, and either not listen or not understand what's going on, and that going on with with a person when they tell you that they're not okay. All these people can't be dismissive of that. And when people are dismissive of how someone feels, or if they tell somebody in the strictest of confidence how they feel and things of that nature, and they dismiss it. That is when those people who say that tell people that are not okay, that is when they get desperate. Because now they're still not okay. And now they're looking for anything that can ease that that discomfort, whether that be self-harm. If someone tells you that they're not okay and you dismiss it, you put that person in peril, because at that point you have no idea what this person is possibly capable of. If you dismiss them telling you that they're not okay, you put that person in peril. Whatever happened to am I my brother's keeper? Whatever happened to am I my sister's keeper? Did those two questions or concepts get thrown out the window? Do we not value our brother? Do we not value our brothers and our sisters? Or do we only value them so far as they're able to supply something or give something to us? Whatever happened to that concept? Am I my brother's keeper? Am I my sister's keeper? I'll tell you what happened with that concept. That particular concept has been long gone. There are a few people that keep that tenet, and they're true to that tenet. But in essence, those two phrases have been long gone because everybody is out for self. There is there no one wants to no one wants to help your brother. No one wants to help your sister. No one wants to help the community at large. Yeah, Monica, there are only a few people that believe or use that concept, and those people are very, very far in between. And again, that's sad. That is very, very sad. And the reason that I say that it's sad, when you have conditions such as depression, such as um, anxiety, PTSD, um, folks that deal with loss, people that suffer from schizophrenia or OCD or any other mental health condition, or just dealing with the blows that life throws at them, and it puts them in a downtrodden state. The reason I say that it's sad is because, and somebody's gonna get offended when I say this, and again, I don't care. We continually talk about community. We as Black folks continually talk about community, but there is no community. We talk about wanting to help each other and lend a helping hand to each other, but instead of putting a hand out, instead of putting your hand out to help the next person up, you put your hand out to push another person down. Mental health is rarely talked about in the mental health is rarely talked about in the Black community because we just don't talk about it. We mental health ain't talked about because we feel that that word that word feels like a communicable disease. That word has that word has a lot of that's a very hated word in our community. And it's treated like a communicable disease. And to be honest with you, it's not a communicable disease. It's a condition. We all deal with mental health issues, whether they're minute or they're large. Everybody has dealt with some form of yeah. And I agree with you, Monica. There are people that are out there that believe in community and helping one another. But like I said before, between that is very, very far and very few in between. We both know we both are connected. Me and you are both connected with people that do that, that that are very active in their communities. And like I said, mental health is should be, we treat as Black folks, we treat mental health like a communicable disease. Like, oh my God, just looks like like somebody got the cooties and they don't want to be around you if you got the cooties. I'm here to tell y'all and here to enlighten y'all that mental health is not a communicable disease. Mental health is something that we all go through. We all experience at some point in our life or another. It's the culmination of our life experiences and also the things that we went through that we experienced in our past, whether it was traumas and things of that nature. All those things contribute to a lot of the conditions that a lot of us deal with. Tell you, me for example, I'll use myself as an example. I have always I've always depression is something that's been around me for ever since, I won't say ever since I can remember, but I know in my late 20s, you know. So depression is something that I'm all too familiar with. But in 2015, I was introduced to two. I won't even say introduced, and I'm using the word introduced very loosely here. I was introduced to two other conditions I didn't even know I had: PTSD and anxiety. I'm a veteran, yes, but my PTSD wasn't brought on by being in a war zone or anything like that. My PTSD came from the shocking experience of seeing Black people being murdered on screen or in the news and all this other stuff. That's where my PTSD came from. Now my anxiety isn't as bad. Isn't horrible. But I do get an uneasiness when I'm around a larger group of people. So I'm not exempt from that, nor I'm not exempt from that, nor am I immune to that. And yes, and yes, LSU. So we do know of family members who suffer from mental illness, and yet we throw them off as them being the crazy person in our family. And the thing of it is that we treat it as if it's the scourge of the earth, man, and that's not the case. So I am gonna say, bro. So I am gonna say, brother, it's okay not to be okay. I am gonna say, sister, it's okay not to be okay. So I am going to say that to you. The other thing that I want to say is that it's okay to not be okay, but don't stay in that place long. And understand that when people dismiss what you feel and dismiss and can't, now that's not a knock on you. That's just that they don't understand and they don't fucking care. And that's just straight up. They don't understand or they don't fucking care. Or they care not to or they care not to understand or they care not to try to your help you ease your pain or help you ease what you're going through or put you in a state of mind where okay, I can I can survive another day. I'm pretty sure LSG there's some research in that. I most definitely want to look at to see if that research that. So it is okay to not be okay, brother. It is okay to not be okay, sister. What I seriously want to tell you that's not that what's what's not okay is to dwell in that. What's not okay is to live in that. Of course, and I understand because I've been through this myself. It's difficult to 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 hear someone say that, and are you are waist deep in whatever you're waist deep in grief, in depression. You're way it's difficult to hear that. It's difficult to pull yourself out of there when you're waist deep in it. And if don't nobody get it, I get it. LAG gets it. Monica gets it because at one point or another, we've all been there. We've all been there, and we all know what that means. We all know what it means to kind of be at that point in your life, at that point in whatever it is you're going through that where that you can't see, that you can't see that you don't see the light. You don't even see the light. You're still in the tunnel. You don't see a light, or that you feel like you're going through an endless night, and that there won't be any daybreak, or that you're in the darkest of places, and you feel that you can't you'll never be able to see. You'll never be able to see. You're in the darkest of pits, and try as you might, as much as you climb, you don't get to the top of that pit. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you that there is light at the end of that tunnel. There is that long night that long night you're going through will eventually turn to daybreak. Those dark clouds, you gonna see the rays of the sun come through. That pit that you're trying to climb out of, keep climbing. Eventually you will get to the top. So you will get to the top of that pit. It takes more than just us as individuals to realize that we're not okay. That is just one part of it. We realize that we're okay, but we don't know. But we don't. Sometimes we say we're not okay, but we don't realize we don't know why we're not okay. We don't know what's triggering the I'm not okay feeling. I'm not okay feeling, and sometimes that requires some a little bit of internal work. Did something traumatic happen in your life? Was there a major life change? Was it something that was catastrophic that happened? Did you witness something did you witness something that changed your outlook on a whole bunch of things? These are what's called triggers. And it can be more than one trigger. Once you at least get a feeling or isolate what that is, or try to at least to the best of your ability to isolate what it is, then now it's time to come. Now it's now once the internal observations are done, now it's time for you to fit to seek help. And I say this to anybody. I say this to anyone who's going through something like this, who's going through traumatic events or going through mental health, going through mental illness and mental health issues. Seek help. Like I stated earlier, the there are more resources available to us now than there were back in the day. You're right, Monica. Time does not heal all wounds. It takes love. It takes it takes caring. It takes love. It takes caring, and it takes a very careful hand to heal the wounds of hurt. And you have to be aligned. You have to be aligned with yourself to want to do that. To say, hey, I'm gonna put it up on myself to heal myself, but also, you know, hold yourself to accountability as well as hold the person that may have hurt you to accountability. So, like I said, now it's time to heal. Now it's time to find help, seek help. And like I said earlier, there are more resources available now to us than there ever were back in the day. Most commercial and state and federal insurance plans offer mental health. That's included in the coverage. Most most employers have what's called an employee assistance program, which offers free visits, which offers visits free of charge for the employer employee to talk to a mental health professional. Take advantage of these. I mean, if you have an insurance plan and it has mental and you know that you need to see a professional, go see that professional. You know, understanding when you do that, you have a you're subject to a co-payment. With if you were an employer, they have you and you have employee assistance benefits. Understand that those benefits are for those benefits are available to you by the employer. The employer pays for that. The employer pays you for those visits. Most EAP programs offer anywhere between 3 to 5 visits. These visits are like just like LSG said. These visits are not just for you. These visits are also for your family. If you don't know, ask. There are mental health professionals in community clinics that see patients that are on low or no income low or no income family members. Again, inquire. There are mental health professionals who will see people pro bono. Most employers now take great stock in the emotional and mental well-being of their employees. And now they understand that it's okay to not be okay, not to be okay. It is okay to have it too. It's okay to take a mental health day, because we all know that some of the work that a lot of us do is a grind. But we also know that the life that we live, the life and the experiences that the experience, the life experience and the human experience is a grind. So there are resources out there for you. Like I said, there are mental health professionals who see patients pro bono, meaning they don't charge, meaning they're not going to charge you. The only thing they may ask for is maybe a small donation, but they're not going to charge you for services. There are mental health professionals that are possibly embedded in community clinics. Inquire. If you can't get to a mental health professional, there are so many other resources that are available to you. There's a suicide hotline. There, there's an organization called NAMI. They they'll be able to refer you to mental health service to mental health services. If you're a veteran in crisis, there are options that are available to you. There are options available to there are options available to you. We I want I'm gonna say this, and I want everybody to listen to hear me when I say this. Mental health is a scourge. Not only on, hey, you know what? But see, you know the funny thing about that though, Monica, it's okay. It's okay to allow your child to have mental health days. And I'm glad that you mentioned that because I want to say this, and I want to say this now while you had the thought in mind and while you brought it up. And I want to thank you for saying that, Monica, for bringing that up. Don't think that mental health doesn't affect our children, because it does. The pressures of being a child or a teenager in this day and age is heavy. The pressure to perform, the pressure to perform, or the pressure to perform, the pressure to good grades, the pressure to be a good student, to be a great athlete, to be a great athlete or a great musician or a great singer, or 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 even dealing with the everyday grind of being in school, where dealing with just awkward conversations, or just dealing with a school bully. The pressure on kids now in school is a lot. Not to mention you tack on the advent of school shootings, which is a traumatic event, and now you have kids dealing with the mental with the emotional and mental effects of that. Man, we got we and I'm saying this with and I'm trying not to get emotional when I say this, because it's a sad it's a sad fact. We have kids, we got young kids, elementary school kids committing suicide because they can't deal with someone bullying them, or the pressures of them living up to such large expectations weighs heavily on them. We have elementary school kids deleting themselves, removing themselves from this plane of existence because they feel that they can't live up to I won't say they can't. The pressure of them doing all that is too great. But yet we as but yet we as but yet we as parents, as school administrators, coaches, teachers, and I'm not saying all. I will say some. We don't see that. We don't understand. We don't see that. We just think that, oh, the kid just going through a phase or whatever or whatnot, and it's not. And it's not. They're not even going through a phase. They're that kid, that child may have may have an actual crisis. But when it comes to mental health, we treat our kids just like we treat each other. Oh, suck it up and do some push-ups, or man up or woman up, or oh, that's okay. Rub some dirt on it. It's fine. It'll be okay. And that's doubly not fair to our children. Because our kids go through depression, they go through anxiety, they suffer from PTSD, they suffer from the same ailments that we do. They suffer from the same mental health conditions that we do. And they deal with the same scorn that we as adults do when a child tells another child or tells an adult or a parent that they're not okay and they're overlooked and they're dismissed. That child feels the same way as that adult. They feel like they can't tell anybody about anything because of fear of being judged. And you're right, Monica. When a school system could give teachers mental health days, but can't give a child a mental health day, because yes, just like adults, kids get overwhelmed too. Kids get overwhelmed with the pressures of just being a child. And that's sad because when you can give teachers mental health days, you don't give kids the mental health days, because a teacher's mental health is much more important than a child's mental health. That's fucked up. Everybody's mental health, whether it be an adult or child, should be just as equally as important. And like I said earlier, guys, when you have elementary school kids, committing suicide, that is a fucking problem. It's bad enough that adults commit suicide. But then you have you have kids, you have elementary school kids committing suicide. That's a problem, y'all. That's a problem. And yes, you know what? I you know what, Monica, I am in 100 I am in 100% agreement with you with that, because that could possibly be the reason why a lot of these school shootings happen, because the child, because of the kids bullied at school, but then they have a horrible home life, and they feel like there's no other way out except to take the actions that they're taking. Excuse me. We got to get it together, y'all. We got to get it together, because the future of not only us is at stake, but also the state of the emotional and mental state of our kids, our children are at stake. We as Black people have to stop thinking that mental health is a mental health is is a communicable disease. We have to stop treating it as that, because it's not a communicable disease. It's something that everybody on this planet goes through. We have to remove the stigma of mental health in black folks, but especially men, because the stigma is large with men. We have to remove that stigma. We have to remove that stain, because we have to acknowledge that it's okay for us to not be okay sometimes. And that and all of us that go through this, we have to feel that we have to feel confident in enough in telling somebody that, hey, I'm not okay. Can I talk to you? And not be judged or scorned about, not be judged or put in scorn about it. People in church in positions in churches need to stop dismissing the simple fact, dismissing it. Stop saying you lack faith. Stop saying you ain't praying hard enough. Stop dismissing that, because when you dismiss it, whether you are a church member, whether you're a lay person, you put another person in peril when you dismiss things like that. And that's the God honest truth. We have to take this much more seriously. It's brother, sister, it is okay for you to not be okay. It's okay. It should be okay. You know what? I'm gonna actually close with that, with this thought. Brother, sister, it's okay for you to not be okay. It's okay for you to feel anxiety. It's okay for you to feel anxiety, depression, PTSD, and and all the other ailments that come with mental health. It's okay for you to understand that the traumatic or catastrophic experiences that you felt, that you've been through, living this life experience, brings about those strong emotions and strong emotions. It's okay. It's okay for you. It's okay for you to feel those. It's okay for you to acknowledge those. It's okay for you to acknowledge those feelings. It's also okay for you tell someone without judgment or dismissive scorn. It's okay. It's okay for you to seek help. It's okay for you to find. It's okay for you to search. It's okay for you to find resources that can help you. It's even okay to do research about the condition that you suffer from. What's not okay? It's not okay to internalize what you feel. Internalization manifest man, intern all those things manifest. It manifests in the physical ailments. And like I said earlier, your mental and your emotional health is directly connected to your physical health. It's not okay to go through what you go through alone. And most people that go through crisis are are mostly alone. It's not okay to isolate yourself. Though most times that when we go through crisis or traumatic events, that's the first thing that we do is we isolate ourselves. It's not okay to ignore what you feel because what you feel is what you feel. Don't ignore it. Embrace it. What's not okay is ignoring the signs. What's not okay is not seeking help. What's not okay is allowing yourself to remain in that position or remain in that place for forever. And the only reward that you're going to get out of it is bitterness and scorn and anger, and there's no closing of that book. It's okay to love on yourself. It's okay to forgive yourself. It's okay to acknowledge what happened, what you went through. Last but most definitely not leastly, it simply is okay to not be okay. Who's ever listening to this, whoever's listening to this or listen to the sound of my voice or watching this, brother or sister, brother and sister, I love you. I love you with the love of God. There's nothing you can do about that. If you are in crisis, if you are in a dark place, seek help, please. Please seek help. There's so many resources that are available to you. If you work a job, seek talk, get in contact, find out who you find out the employee assistance provider for you, for this assistance program provider for you. Get in contact with them. Start getting those visits in. Most providers that are part of the EAP network are usually a par provider or a participator upon that issue that well. So make sure that you check with that. Seek out help in your community. Like I said before, most there are mental health professionals embedded in community health centers. There are mental health professionals. We should all be in this together. We should all be in this together. And that's my thought. That's my thought. I do want to give a quick announcement before I close out tonight. Um Saturday, Saturday, January 14th at 8 o'clock. It's gonna be a party going down, y'all. And that party is celebrating the release of my fourth book and my second poetry book, which is called How the Perspective Soul. That book is currently out now as an ebook and a paperback on Amazon. I just submitted it to Barnes and Noble not too long ago, and I'm waiting for them to approve it as an ebook. So it's currently available now. They're like I said, with the release of it, I will most definitely put a link out there for you guys so you guys can purchase the book as well. Um, I'm also getting physical copies so that way if someone wants a personalized copy, that hit up and I will most definitely make sure that you get a personalized copy. Um, And so I want you guys to tune in at 8 o'clock. I'm going to be doing a release party for my book, and I probably I may. Well, I won't say I may. I am going to read a couple pieces from. I am going to read a couple pieces from the book. I may read three. I may read 3 pieces from the book. Um, Gonna chat with you guys and tell you guys the motivation and the inspirations behind the book, behind this poetry book, why, and also kind of why I wrote certain pieces the way that I wrote them, and what was the inspiration behind those pieces. So make sure you guys tune in at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Trailblazers Radio, where I'm gonna give you what I'm gonna talk about my book, How I See It, the Perspective Soul. And that is the only announcement that I have for the night. Make sure that make sure that you guys continue to follow us on our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We also have a YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe to the channel, as each one of these episodes is automatically streamed to YouTube automatically, so you guys can check us out on YouTube. So you can please like and subscribe to the channel. Um, we're also on Twitch. So every time one of us goes live, every time I go live, I make sure that it's streamed to our Twitch channel. If you guys are a Twitch subscriber or a Twitch member, you guys can check out those live streams there. You can also ask questions from the live stream there. Um, and I thank you guys for just continually supporting us on this journey to continually blaze trails, continue to be the pathfinders, continue to be the vanguards as we continue to move forward and talk about uncomfortable subjects. I'm gonna continue this particular series and keep talking and keep bringing about uncomfortable subjects, because these uncomfortable conversations are the conversations that are needed, because these conversations bring about awareness. These conversations bring about certain truths. These conversations spark even more conversations. So most definitely continue to like and follow us. Make sure you check out our website, www.trailblazersradio.net. Hi, Miss Latanya. And again, check out our website, www.trailblazersradio.net. There's a lot. That website has a lot of information there. If you got you, well, there's also. I'm gonna make sure that I try to upload this particular episode, as well as the first episode, to check into um, the website so people can take a look at it. Um, and also check out our audio. Check out our audio. Check us out on our audio platforms as well. Well, we're on Spotify. We're on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. We're on TuneIn. We're also on Anchor. We're also on Stitcher Radio, Caster FM. We're also on Amazon. We're also on Amazon Music as a podcast platform. So check us. So if you're not able to watch the video, not able to watch the video podcast, make sure you check us out on all those streaming platforms, because I do my very best to try to upload um, those episodes to Anchor at least weekly, so that way we're current on our episodes and things of that nature. So again, I want to thank everybody that tuned in. I most definitely want to thank um Latanya Harris Gooden, aka LHG, for tuning in and chat and hanging out in the chat with us. Also want to thank Monica Reese for coming in and chatting with us and offering her perspective and her conversation as well. Um, I want to thank those ladies. I also want to thank Miss Emma, Miss Emma Simon, for coming in briefly and chopping it up with us and chatting with us. I most definitely appreciate that. Um, I'm very appreciative of the people that listen to us, that watch us, um, and I'm very appreciative to the people that support us as a pod. Not only not only us individually, not only myself, Coco Fenton, Quint Jones, Barbara Melvin, and Latanya Harris Gooden. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys supporting us individually as well as collectively. That does not go without that does not go without me expressing any gratitude for that. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. And again, we love you guys with the love of Christ, and there's nothing you can do about that. And I want to wish you all a very good evening and a very good night. I'm gonna close this out a with a commercial for a commercial for my sis, Latanya Harris Gooden, um, with Critical Conversations, as well as another commercial with her, another commercial with her talking about her business. So thank you guys for tuning in. You guys have a wonderful evening. Godspeed and God bless.
Hello, everybody. This is LHG. I am just coming to let you know that I am an independent paparazzi jewelry consultant. You didn't know that, did you? Well, now you know. So I would love to be your personal jewelry lady. Paparazzi is an amazing company. We sell nickel and lead free jewelry. We are known for our $5 bling, but you just need to know there is an exclusive Z collection that's $25. It's the bling of all bling when you're really going out on the town and you want to show up absolutely fabulous. So we have items for women, for men, and for young fashionistas out there. We don't discriminate. If you need it, I'm sure we got it. You have the opportunity to follow my page on Facebook called Polished on Purpose, a VIP group. Follow my personal page, Latanya Harris Gooden. And I have my own website that is at your disposal 24/7. So many ways to shop. So let me be the one that makes sure you are accessorized the way you should be. Because I want you to be polished on purpose. My mentor always tells me, when you show up, people are checking you out. They're watching you. So why not be polished? Be poised. Be purposeful. Glam it up with pop, honey. I got what you need.
What is a critical conversation? A critical conversation is a conversation that reveals important context, not only about ourselves, but about other people. Critical conversations edify, heal, and provide substance. Join Latanya Harris Gooden as she introduces us to critical conversations right here on Trailblazers Radio.